Hello people of the earth and welcome back to QuickSaveTV. My name is Mike and today I would like to propose an idea for an AD carry support combination, which I believe right now is a perfect composition if you include Vayne in it, which is going to be Vayne and Thresh. They seem to be fueling each other immensely and they add to each other's strengths in a variety of ways in which I'm going to describe to you in just a moment. First and foremost, because of the Thresh's innate amount of CCs that he has, and the Dark Passage, which is the thing that he throws a lantern, gives you a shield, and you can use it to zipline straight back to him, you actually are much more free in the way you build your character. And the previous video I've made about Vayne was about that I've recommended you to max your E, but I've mentioned that it's very situational, right? Both, E is very situational, W is again very situational, because you need to be allowed to finish your rotation, which may or may not be impossible when you're fighting against Taric, for example, when you're fighting against Ezreal-Taric, or when you're fighting against Misfortune Nunu, or when you're fighting against anything that can punish you for being too aggressive, okay, like Leona or like Blitzcrank. Now, with Thresh, you're actually a little bit more free in the way you build your character, because you don't necessarily have to max your Q, because the Thresh already allows you an opportunity to get the hell back from combat, which is immensely powerful and allows you to be a lot more aggressive early game as Vayne. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that when you're playing Vayne, didn't you have these moments when you would try to use your W on the enemy, meaning like the passive, right? You would like to use your silver bolts on the enemy in order to deal additional damage, because it deals true damage. It's overall my favorite ability in the game, maybe. Now, what would happen often is that you wouldn't be allowed to finish your full rotation on the enemy, depriving you of this huge amount of damage that you could have dealt to the enemy, because the enemy is either under turret, either is so close to the turret, and there's also Taric or Blitzcrank, and if you get overly cocky, they're just gonna decimate you and tear you apart, because the turret is also going to assist them in this, in this killing you. But Thresh, with his Dark Passage, which is he throws a lantern and shields you, if you use this lantern, you actually will be able to fly all the way back to Thresh, the zipline straight back to him, allowing you to effectively finish your rotation and minimize the damage from the turret with the shield that he provides. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is the potential for killing that Thresh unlocks before level 6. Many characters get a very game-changing ultis in the bottom lane, okay? When we talk about Ezreal, when we talk about Misfortune, they get this amazing ultis which deals tons of damage, which you cannot really contest as Vayne early game, because your ulti is in essence increasing the damage of all your other abilities as well as your basic attacks, okay? But to truly benefit from that, you need to have either a very short cooldown, either you have to have a huge attack speed, which is both really not possible before level 6, okay? Unless you build the what the hell is the name, Brutalizer, but I don't really think it's the optimal choice for Vayne. Now, because of the Thresh's Death Sentence and Flay and Dark Passage and all of these abilities all together, the way he can combine them is that he can pull the enemy to you, allow you to condemn the enemy into the wall, and then just tear him to pieces or force him to flash away. You cannot imagine how many times the enemy tried to come and gank us and would get decimated in the process of doing that, simply because this combination just works so goddamn well. The other thing is the dive-in potential with Thresh, something I have already mentioned, again, before level 6. Because of the Thresh's ability to throw the lantern wherever he wants, and because the lantern basically instantly ziplines you back to him, whomever dives the enemy on the bottom lane when there is Thresh, what he can do is he can save anybody whatsoever who's on low hit points and deny the enemy even one kill when you're diving at very low health. And of course the other thing, which you probably already understood, but the thing is that when you are being aggressive with Vayne and Thresh, because your combined effort and rotation are so goddamn powerful and the enemy cannot do much with it, even though the Vayne is getting very exhausted when she constantly condemns people into the wall, what happens is that you constantly burn their flashes. And I don't need to tell you how important it is, because you understand that if you have a jungler that is not very comfortable and ganking you until level 6, suddenly he becomes so, because if the enemy doesn't have a flash, the enemy doesn't have an escape mechanism, and if he doesn't have an escape mechanism, it's basically the free money. And whenever you do that, you actually Either you push the enemy down the line, back into under their turret, because they're not going to be as aggressive or assertive, or you secure for your team a future kill, because your jungler will be able to come and help without having too much issues. Specifically junglers like Vi or Skarner or whomever else who has the gank unlocking ulti, such as Warwick or Amumu. You're generally going to feel more comfortable at an early level gank because the enemy is not going to have a flash. And this is all I wanted to tell to you today. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, do not forget to put a like on this video and favorite it. If you would like to see more from me, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and come back for more later. Have a greatest day, thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.